Hi guys, I'm in the car today instead of walking, but I learned how to slaughter chickens this morning. So we were at a friend's from 8 to 2:30, helping them process chickens, and we had breakfast and hung out with them for a bit. But quite fun. But I don't think you guys particularly care about slaughtering chickens. I am sorry, driving, but something that I'm going to try and work on is simplification or like minimization. The reasoning behind that is I feel like I have so many things that I'm doing that I don't have enough time to do them all right at least. So I'm going to try, I have been, but I've been trying to go through the process of getting rid of old things and not saying that I'm going to do things or willing to do things that I shouldn't be. I guess it's kind of the say no more rule. Like, if you're saying yes too much, you will get overwhelmed with too many things, and then you'll start failing to get those things done, and that will take a hit on your self-confidence, and so, or your like reliability. So if you commit yourself to doing less things but doing those things better, I think that the results will be a lot better. You'd be a lot more like mentally at peace, because you wouldn't have 1,001 things going on in your head at once. And so right now I guess I'm just trying to go through the grueling process of organizing everything and getting it a little bit more, I don't know, simple, making life simple. And instead of working around the clock to try and juggle all the things I have going on, instead I actually get to focus on the things that, one, matter to me and that I want to do, but also few enough things that I can sleep well at night. So I guess a good example of a couple of things that I feel like I'm extending myself too thin on is, I've talked previously in videos about how I was doing Amazon stuff to get commission. So I'm going to try and clear all of that out and get all of those videos back up so it's producing money, but I think that I'm going to be done with that. Mostly, at least. I have probably 30 Amazon products, some random things that I've gotten over time laying around the house that need to be either sold, thrown away, given away, or just gotten rid of in general. Because the way that it worked is, once I got to a certain income level, I started getting people reaching out to me to send me items. And this was great for a while, but now those people who want to send me items are either going to pay $20 per item or are just doing the item for free. Now, on average, items make me like $11 in a year. So I'm basically getting paid like $1 a month to do a video, and that's not even close to worth it anymore. It used to be, but now it increases my income from $800 a month to $801 per month for 30 minutes of effort. That's like $2 an hour if you look at it monthly, and if you look at it annually, it's like $12 an hour, which I can just go work minimum wage and get better payment than that. The only time it is worth it is if they offer to pay me, but even then, most of the products that they offer to pay me on don't actually make any sales ever. Because the reason why they're paying me to do these reviews or marketing is because they don't have people buying the product. And so it's kind of counterintuitive. Hey, let me send you a free product. By the way, we're sending out free products because we need to market this product because it has no sales. And you review this product, I don't make any money off of it. So now I just have the product. And that's why I have like 40 things laying around the house, is random things that don't sell and that aren't doing well. And it's interesting because I have this object permanence where after a certain amount of time, I kind of forget that things are there, but I still feel the overwhelm involved. So I just have a pile of crap in my room, and it's been there for months and I haven't touched it. And so things like that. Basically, I'm trying to close open loops and finish unfinished business so that they can be done and that chapter and that book can be completely closed, so I can start fresh and anew and correct this time. Which doesn't mean that I just like shut everything down to go clean up constantly, but it just means that reduce the amount of things I'm committing myself to. So one, I'm less stressed, but two, I can focus more energy on the things that matter. And that's like a good lesson to take away, I suppose, is really just, if you spread yourself too thin, then you won't get anything done. The most successful people, everybody likes to believe, are the people who are amazing at everything. But the reality is most successful people were just really good at one thing, and the rest of their lives and the different parts of their lives suffered, and you just don't ever hear about that. Like, the very, very best business people have no time for their family. They have terrible home lives. Not all, I'm not saying like for everyone, but what I'm saying is just the pattern. People who, you only have so much time, and you don't have more time by just being a successful person suddenly. So the successful people that are spending all of their time on something, well, they're having to sacrifice or trade off some other time doing some other thing, and you just don't realize that because all you're seeing is their success, but you're not seeing all of the failed relationships, terrible family life, the fact that they're just not happy, and all that. And so if you're trying to be somebody like me who isn't willing to put all those eggs in just one basket, then you have to choose your baskets very, very, very carefully, because if you do spread yourself too thin, well, you won't be able to focus on any of them, and they will crumble the same way as if you put them all in one. You only have so many eggs to put in so many baskets, and so I guess we can push this like analogy to its limits and just say, if you have like 4 eggs, but you're trying to put them in 7 baskets, so you just have too many baskets, not enough eggs. Versus if you have 4 eggs, you try to put them all in one basket, that could go horribly wrong for the other 7 baskets that are still sitting there. So it's just finding a good balance that works for you. There's no special number, it just depends on the person. But for me, and using a little bit of science with it, I guess, the number is realistically 3, because that's how many things the human brain can think of at the same time critically. It's what you can put in your working memory. And so for me, that would be the app business, like doing that instead of doing affiliate marketing, also doing the app, also doing like whatever else. Just one business. And then usually the 3 categories that I try to focus on is work, relationships, and health. Work, health, relationships. Those 3 typically dictate everything that I do in my life. And so one of my energies is focused on work, which would be the business. And then health would be working out, eating healthy, all of that. And then relationships would just be making time for community, talking to people that I love, meeting new people, networking, nurturing the relationships I already had, and all that. And if I put pretty much all my energy into just those 3, I tend to be really happy. Now, the one curveball that always gets thrown into this is school, because it technically falls under 2 of those categories. Like, it is technically relationships because I am meeting other students, networking with them, and making new friends. And also it technically coincides with work because I'm learning business related topics. But the stuff that you learn in school isn't really what happens in the real world. It's all conceptual, and then you have to use that conceptual knowledge to apply it to realistic problems, which typically are nothing like textbook problems. And so that always throws a curveball, because that, given those 3 categories, now gives me a 4th thing to focus on, which is school. And so I'm trying to juggle relationships and school and work and health, and that is pretty much what my life consists of. But some people are trying to juggle too many things at once. They're trying to start 3 different businesses. They're trying to, I don't know, like their relationship, or their opposite is they're focusing all their energy on starting their business, or they're focusing all their energy on school, or they're focusing all their energy on their relationships, and they're wondering why their other categories are suffering. So like, there's been many times in my life where I've focused too much of my time on business, and my health has suffered for it. Like, I stopped going to the gym, I'll start feeling worse, I'll lose weight, or gain weight for that matter. I'll lose sleep. But there's also been times where I focus so much on relationships that I forget about business. And I find that the key to happiness in life, this is kind of coming from a book that I read, but it seems to apply perfectly to reality, is what humans define as happiness is finding a balance of wanting more and appreciating what they have. That balance for some people can differ, but at its core, the feeling that we associate with being happy, that steady, calm feeling, the internal peace feeling, is when we have things that we want and goals and direction, because humans like direction, they like goals, they like dreaming, we're future oriented creatures. And so if you have some future oriented goal, or you have a direction that you're going in, and you are happy with the things that you have. So a good example would be you're in a happy long-term relationship and you're in an apartment that you absolutely love. You feel really, really healthy and you're grateful for this. You recognize this. This is a thing that you often think about, but also you want more. You want to start a business and help people. You want to maybe get a little bit more flexible or athletic so that when you have kids, you can keep up with them, like any other reason. So you can be happy with what you have and want more. And if you're in a constant state of that, that's really what we define as happiness, literally like neurochemically. And so this would be a mixture of dopamine and other neuromodulator neurochemicals, I think, like serotonin, oxytocin, testosterone. And people who are unhappy are typically either extreme. So people who are so focused on what they want that they don't realize what they have, they're constantly ungrateful and miserable because they feel like they have nothing, and they're constantly dreaming, but they don't actually do any work. And the other extreme is that they're so happy with what they have that you sit on the couch all day, watch TV, and binge eat because you don't have any desire to go get more than you already have. And so a steady, fulfilled life is one where you can balance those. And for me, I've learned that focusing on my health, work, and relationships, and then for now school, I guess, is like a bonus category, accomplishes that, because relationships give me grounding, so they make me feel appreciative of what I already have. Work gives me aspiration towards the future, and health, I would say, kind of connects the both of them because it makes me feel good now, but also gives me something to pursue, because you're really never at the end of pursuing health. It's a constant process. And when you don't feel well, or you're unwell, if you're genuinely sick, you have some sort of chronic sickness, that kind of weighs down on the whole happiness thing. And the reasoning, at least for me, is, well, because you're no longer happy with what you have, because you have sickness and you don't feel good, and you can't go get more because you're sick and you don't feel good. So it kind of destroys both of them, and then you're just miserable. And that it's just like health is such a large factor in our lives that it could absolutely just destroy all of the other things that we're focusing on. And so it kind of, for me, is a requirement to focus on. So health is if health is the core, the requirement for all things, then the thing that I look forward to most is work, and the thing that I appreciate that I have is relationships. And that's kind of how I focus my life. But hopefully that was somewhat, I don't know, what is the word, like, it resonates with you, but can you say like resonative? Like, I don't know. I'll look it up. But hopefully that resonated with you, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.